That Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 32 of Better Hit the Mat. Tom's had a bit of a facelift, as you can see. So raise your glasses. Cheers. Good to see you all.
Cheers.
Yes.
Looking good, Tom.
They say that marriage changes a man. But
Yes.
who would have thought you would literally become a different person?
What is it that made his voice go deeper is what I want to know.
COVID. That was COVID.
I was climbing so much up in the Colorado Rockies, and it just really changed my voice with, the altitude sickness that I had just a little bit of, and then COVID came in on it as well, and
Come on, we know it's the gas station dick pills.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
that's what it does.
It's those latest PEDs you've been dropping. So
well, okay, it's that and the body wraps. I can't help it. You know, the caffeine
It works.
pills and all of that was all garbage. Just total bunk. It's all gas station pills and wraps.
And for
Unfortunately.
those that are not watching, and those people in the audio realm, we have the one and only Jason Sparks joining us. He's going to be filling in while Tom is down south, doing something for his OnlyFans. So
Something with
we're
baby
excited.
oil. That's all I know.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
excited to see what comes of it. Allegedly, who knows?
At an extremely short notice, I might add. So thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
for
we
joining
added him
us.
about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Glad
He
to
obviously
be
put
here.
on the shittiest T-shirt he could find.
Hey, well, I was going to see if I could have breaks so that I could. I'd start out with burn the boats, but I've got my back on track and my Shamrock shirt sitting over here off to the side. But
They don't want to be associated with this
Would
show.
work out.
yeah, that's why I figure,
We've learned from
whenever
past
we get
experience.
going with it, we'll just leave it.
The only way that works is you have to be already wearing all three. So,
Yeah, I
sorry.
believe that's the Dobbins special, no?
yeah. Which is amazing because Travis wanted to do that for weeks and then fucking Dobbins came in and stole his thunder, which is
I know.
amazing. By the way, talking of one Mr. Dobbins, are we gonna big up the podcast rivals that we now have, or are we just gonna pretend they don't exist because they're trying to usurp us? I don't know. How are we gonna play it?
I thought that they were just going to get big enough and then we could just like fade.
Yeah, just
into
retire.
existence.
Yeah, no one will
That's right.
notice. Just backing off here.
Exactly.
No, they what are they? It's the next 90%. Is
Next
that what it is?
90. Right.
The next 90. Yeah, excellent logo though. It's a 90 looking like a percent sign. Smart logo.
Yeah.
Very smart choice. And I do
3 episodes in at this point.
correct.
They
Yeah,
got good talent on there too. Yeah,
yeah.
good group.
Yep, great people. And I look forward to seeing it. I think the most recent one was Caitlin, kind of talking about her story.
Yeah.
And then eventually we all have to sit through Justin's story, as unimpressive
I've
as
not
it
heard it.
is. No, it's one of the best, and I can't. I hope he actually goes deeper into it. I think he's been pretty open and honest about it on multiple platforms, but it'd be interesting to see if there's anything else, or even
Well, I know that's a major aspect that they want to touch on is the mental well-being of that part as well. So yeah.
and that'll be huge because there's definitely. I'm certainly not qualified to talk about the mental aspects. I can talk maybe surface level, but I know that they intend on bringing some people that they're working with in that realm that are professional and certified. And Dr. Tom up here is brilliant, but I don't even think he wants to touch on that too much,
Yeah.
So
And the Caitlin episode, if you're one of those people who is either concerned about excess skin or you're at the point where you've done the work and you've got the excess skin, you're considering surgery, that episode, she goes into a lot of detail about how it's done, the impacts of it all. I found it fascinating, so definitely go and check that out. So,
Yeah,
oh
kind of
God, we
missed
just
it.
promoted them.
I was intending to bring her on to have her talk about that and break that story for us, and then she went and ruined it. So I guess we'll bring her on and we'll talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah,
it'll be
and-
just as interesting and just as beneficial to the community, I'm sure.
And really fucking amazing Halloween spooky close-up videos, because that thing she did at Halloween was fucking mint. With contacts and everything.
Spin off of that is going to be a little YouTube channel, not really a podcast, but Justin and I are kind of getting something together. Saint Shamrock and the Savage, and we're going to be doing some road tripping with
Yeah,
that. So that's going to be our little, we're going to head to Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Nashville area.
So, depending how you record that, and like, how are we going to best troll you? Can you tell us now, just so we get prepared?
Well, you'll have to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Saint Shamrock and the Savage, and that's the best way to troll us right now. So,
and are you going to announce the route ahead of time so I can call local authorities ahead of you arriving, things like that?
Yeah, December 4th and the 5th, we're going to be in Chicago. 6th, 7th, going to be in Nashville. I think that's true. 8th, 9th, going to be in Pittsburgh. I know it's a zigzag.
I would say that's a terrible route, and you need to get a hold of Google Maps right away because they've got you really fucked.
Well, we just wanted to hit a few different spots and didn't give a shit about driving. So, it is what it is.
Well, this time, can Ryan go ahead and head just a little bit to the west? And
that's the plan. December 4th. So, yep.
Cool.
That's the plan. I'm going to take them to my favorite local burger joint.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we should be arriving.
I don't have a fucking local burger joint. Get out of here. I go to Five Guys and I eat a bunch of shit.
We can't do Five Guys. Although I love Five Guys, but we can't do Five Guys.
Well, somebody recommended Shoop's, and Shoop's is super overrated. So I'll take I will take a Hardee's burger.
Well, I do know in Chicago, we will be going actually into Chicago because there's this place called Smoke Daddy's in Chicago that's absolutely on fire. And every time I go to Chicago, I have to get by there. So I got to take Justin by there for sure.
Have you been to the barbecue joint where it's all you can eat meat? You just literally just keep bringing like swords of meat to
Brazilian barbecue.
The Brazilian place? Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Love those. When you're keto, they're amazing.
Oh, yeah. And
Justin calls that lunch.
Yes, absolutely.
So
you can just leave the sword.
Stick it in the table. So how many days total is it, Travis, just for my records?
4th through the 10th.
A lot of drive time.
Tentative days.
15 days then.
Yeah.
No. Take the right stick.
For the math at home.
British math.
So guys, the sweepstake buy-in is $5 each, and you can pick any day in that time where you think the friendship's going to completely dissolve, and the winner takes the pot. Is that okay? That's what I'm going to do.
Day 1, hour 1.
I say by the time they get to Nashville and sit in that traffic. Who's making the playlists? That's all I want to know.
The playlist. We have some prearranged playlists. What?
No.
What?
No. You have a community source playlist, but you guys can't see it until it starts.
Yes. Now we're talking.
There you go.
Have you ever tiptoed through the tulips, my friend?
Oh my goodness. Some of those playlists
This could be hilarious.
Well,
and you have to sit through it. That'd be a good bit, man. Especially if that'd be some good video footage.
Well, we already have some playlists put up through the community. It's pretty.
Yeah, I saw it, but I think it would be fun where it's like, okay, guys, give us just the most off the wall.
Yeah.
And pick. It'd be like 30 songs. So it'd get you to and from somewhere.
So. And if you and also what we're going to be doing is Justin. He's going through his level 1 training, so he's going to be doing his practice teaching. And if anyone else out there is going through level 1 or level 2 training, then we want you to hop up there with us and teach along with us. So
cool.
Hopefully we'll be letting some people teach along with us.
So when you announced it, my mind's eye's a weird place, right? But my vision was that the two of you crammed into a Citroen C5 with the rollback roof, and just Justin's head just sticking out the top of this roof.
Like those old Shaquille O'Neal commercials where he's driving through the sunroof.
Or more like, what is it, Police Academy, when he pulls the seat
Pulls
out,
the back
just
seat.
Hightower.
sits in the
High
back.
tower. Yeah.
Hightower in the little
Just be in the
Civic.
back seat.
Yeah, man. Dobbins basically is DDPY's Hightower, isn't he? 100%.
Yeah, he's really chill until you piss him off.
Speaking of pissing off, you guys all saw the beautiful comment section on Tina's post. Did you get to see it, Boz?
I heard about it. I saw the fallout from it, and I commented based on what other people were saying. I didn't actually find the post themselves, but
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just,
It was taken down before I could add in alphas know how to use grammar.
Yeah, literally, I told the guy he hit douchebag bingo.
That was hilarious.
What did it? So he called somebody white knight. He called them simps. He used the phrase cucks. He went after somebody's wife and sleeping with other men because of that. What else did he do? He referred to himself as an alpha. What did he call himself? A Kodiak?
I can't
Or
remember
something
it. It was so
Yeah,
hilarious.
I'm a grizzly and you're a gnat. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
I probably
And-
shouldn't have said go fuck yourself to him, though.
Oh no, 100% you should
it
have.
sounds like you very much had it coming.
Yeah. But so Tina had posted in the group that, she about a non-scale victory, and he just went after her for taking up his news feed. So Nathan Kesnovic, if you're out there, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, times 4.
But but he said, how did he phrase it? Like something along the lines of, I keep my online group really close, or I don't have many friends. And it's like, yeah, it's because you're an asshole, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
shit, Sherlock.
yeah,
So
exactly.
basically, he just follows the DDPY group and a Corvette group.
Yeah. Yep.
And he trolls the shit out of everybody in each.
Yeah, don't bring that in here. And thankfully, he got shut down pretty quick. I talked to Tina, and she's like, I feel so bad that post brought on negativity. I said, no way, man.
No.
That kind of ugliness, it makes everything else so much
We
more
need a little release
beautiful.
every now and then.
Yeah, that's the sweating and swearing equivalent of Facebook posting.
Right.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Exactly.
Please weed them out. Make them make those comments, so we can just eject them. Then it's done,
yeah.
isn't it? So
Yeah, in plenty of groups I'm in, we sometimes will kind of do that. You post something a bit controversial just to see what kind of riles up, and it helps you kind of weed out the people that don't belong, I guess, as bad as that sounds. But especially like in vinyl trading groups, you can see people that are flippers or people trying to take advantage of other buyers, and you put something up there and you kind of start seeing what people's real intentions are to the hobby, and it really helps you clear out some of the asshats.
I just want to join that group and bang on about how great cassettes are in audio quality compared to vinyl.
You can't do that all fucking day long because cassettes are moving for like $40 to $60 a piece. So
Well,
they're
Adele's
crazy.
new single, she's selling cassette tape versions. We've
Yes,
got one
correct.
downstairs.
No, it's absolutely huge. And fuck Adele. Put that out there too.
okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. She currently literally pressing plants are working around the clock to push out 500,000 pressings of her new album
Ooh.
before the holiday. And
Ouch.
if you are an independent, and like I currently have 16 vinyls that have been back ordered for at least 3 months to do this Adele order. And Adele doesn't need that money. These small independent bands that live on this physical media, they need the revenue. Adele's going to get 1 billion streams on radio. She's going to get them on Spotify. That physical media sale, that helps these artists survive. And they're now not going to get their material out there. And that sucks.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't happen that way. And just because your company paid more money to jump ahead of the lines, that's bullshit. Fuck Adele. So, yeah. There
I'd
you
say
go.
probably more
Yeah,
fuck her.
Welcome
Yeah.
to
But yeah,
Ryan Complains About Vinyl.
her PR people
Fuck
probably.
Dale,
know
man.
this.
Just let her. Yeah.
But in all
is a
seriousness,
good
she's
intro.
fantastic.
Excuse me, she's a national
talented.
treasure. I'm
She's
feeling
super
that
good.
one.
No, she's
I'm
ridiculously
feeling that
good.
one.
She's ridiculously good, and it's not her. She didn't do that. But
The thing I love about Adele is
I do
you
love her
would
music.
you would hear that amazing singing voice, and then you'd hear an interview, and she's like, "Yeah,
oh, it's unreal.
I love her laugh."
Yeah, they're saying that I know a couple of people in the industry, and they're saying that if you don't have an album recorded in the next 2 months, that your physical media release will not come out until 2023.
Holy God.
Fuck.
A guy I know that runs Wax Mage Records, he's currently booking for December 2022 right now. And then somebody I know that's on Tooth and Nail Records, they have scheduled their their release date for March of next year so they can book their appointment for December for physical release. And they haven't even to the studio yet. They haven't even talked about it.
Anyone
Everything's
fancy
got-
starting a business?
We were going to have a cow get slaughtered. 18 months they told us it was going to take.
That's a big ass cow.
18 months. Yeah.
Unreal, man. So yeah, if you've got the means and the rights to open a pressing plant, please do, so you can save physical media. So no, it's unreal out there. It really is. Even in our industry, I know RVs. If you buy an RV now, you're going to get it in 2023, and that's unless even bigger delays hit. It's just crazy stuff right now. So yeah, and then other than that, anything else going on in your guys' world?
That's it.
I'm ill. Apart from that,
You're ill, yeah.
I'm
You're
fine.
a little under the weather.
Excuse any coughing that may occur, but it's
got
not COVID,
Manaflu?
it'd be bad to know. Man flu. Get it right.
Oh, I thought it
Flu.
was magical flu.
Actually, I will drop in a video that I always use to explain what man flu is, because it's just that we're crap when we get a cold.
I feel a bit under the weather. How are you feeling?
How do you think I feel? Got a stupid cold, haven't I? Thanks a lot.
Poor darling, you should have said something. I'd have come down and made you some soup.
I called for you. I said, Laura. You didn't come. So I dialed 999.
What?
Where is he? Quickly, love. Okay, son. Everything's gonna be fine.
I'm gonna die.
Not if we can help it.
My head's so burny.
How did this happen?
Oh, he caught the cold off me.
Just don't think, do you?
I'm a bit confused. Hasn't he just got a cold?
For God's sake, woman, he's a man. He's got a man cold. Do not, under any circumstances, move from this bed, okay? You, take this bell. When he rings it, I want you to come to him and rub his head and say, "Poor little bunny."
Poor little bunny.
Okay, that's good. Let's go. We've got a man in Cantor Avenue with a hurty knee.
Sorry. What about me?
What?
Well, I've got a cold too.
Have you not heard of Lemsit?
Laura. I want some soup. And I want to watch CBeebies.
You guys ready to bring on this week's guest then?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. This week's guest is the leader of Team Red Headband. For many of us, he is synonymous with DDPY as Arthur, Jake, and even Dallas himself. Please welcome Tony Schiavone's favorite person, Garrett Sakahara.
Woo!
Man.
Do you have a beverage, sir?
That's a,
Cheers.
oh my God! No, that's the one. Oh no!
Cheers.
There we are. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. It's been a while. It's been a lot of back and forth with Travis and everything, trying to make this work and everything like that. So I'm glad it finally worked out and everything.
Right on.
Well, yeah, you've got maybe the busiest schedule out there besides Dallas. It feels like.
You know what's crazy is like I'll go in pockets to where ever since pandemic hit and everything like that, like I'm either super busy like out of all days today, or like there'll be like 2 or 3 days where there's like nothing going on. So, but yeah, it's kind of inconsistent, but yeah, it's just gotta go day by day.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. A lot of people, they obviously know you from the app, whether they don't have an internet connection and they get to see you hanging out. We'll call it hanging out. Or they know you from workouts. I think everybody knows you from the leader of the Team Red Headband or something like that. Drop.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and like hilarious.
What is that?
I will forever hear, or something like that, anytime somebody mentions the red headbands. Like, I can't not think of that drop. How did you even get started with DDPY? Did you start with the company first? Were you a user? Like, what was going on?
So I had met Dallas when we were both living in Los Angeles, and this is probably about 2012 or so. And one of my buddies, Tony Moser, stand-up comedian, actor, and editor.
Just made a movie, or he's gonna make a movie, right?
Yeah, it was Pizza Man with the. Frankie
Oh no, I'm talking
Muniz.
about the one with the bands.
Oh yeah, Tony. Yeah, he's doing an all ages documentary, and
For Portland?
Yeah, he's actually in Tri-Cities, Washington.
Washington. Okay, Seattle.
That was the Kickstarter program too, right?
The Kickstarter, yeah.
Right.
God, we're giving way too much credit for Tony, too much time for Tony right now. But no, he's a really good dude, and
I have to say, Pizza Man is the reason I'm here at all, doing any of this. It is. Legitimately, that film is the reason I heard about DDPY. So there you go.
is it? That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just
Some
pizza.
people, some people, it was Arthur. For Boz, it was Pizza Man.
Pizza Man.
It was
And
Pizza Man, then Arthur, but yes, it was Pizza Man first.
And actually, the best part about Pizza Man is I have another friend, Marco, and Marco was working really closely with Dallas because they were, after a full set day and everything like that, Marco would go over to Dallas's house and he would go over lines with them for the dyslexia and everything like that, just to help the process and everything. So they became really close. And Marco's not really a wrestling fan, but he told Dallas, "Oh, I got, two buddies, Tony and Garrett, who are big wrestling fans." And if you watch the Pizza Man trailer, you'll see the part that I got denied, but Tony Moser got. It's him coming out of the bathroom, the porta potty, when Frankie Muniz was trying to go in there to change. So
Right.
if you want Tony Moser's claim to fame, just go to the actual trailer. It's pretty ridiculous.
Now, is that on Dr.
IMDb
Skin?
includes
or,
a porta potty. Yeah.
Was that what?
Was that on drskin.com?
It should have been. It should have been.
So, yeah.
What's Dr. Skin? I don't know what that is.
There you go.
But yeah, and it was just through a chance meeting where Dallas is just asking Marco, "Well, are these guys cool wrestling fans? Or are they going to be a little ridiculous?" He's like, no. They're actually pretty respectful and everything like that. So Dallas had me over for dinner one night, and it was through then, and I was in my band still, and I was working HR at Toys R Us just for
Something
the
AM, right?
AM session. Yeah.
There you go.
And it was right when the band was starting to come to an end. We were getting ready to go into pre-production for the third album. And rather than that going through, our drummer at the time decided it was time to call it quits. And there's no hard feelings or anything like that. We just decided to plan a going away show rather than going for the third album. And it's just kind of one of those things where music was my life and everything. And that's when I met Dallas. And Dallas had asked me at the time, "Are you happy with your weight and everything?" I said, "No, of course not." So at that point, right when I met him, I was right around 4 bills. I was right 395, 400. And, he said, "I'm going to give you the program. My only rule is you have to use it. I'm not just going to give it to you for free." And I think with a lot of the testimonies that we've seen, or a lot of people that we've seen in the group, it was cool. I got to meet him, take pictures with him, say I met Diamond Dallas Page. Got home and they went on the desk for a month or so, and then I got a call, unlisted number, about a month later. "Bro, are you doing the workouts?" "Oh yeah. I'm doing the workouts." "All right, meet me in the park." So I probably got about 5 minutes worth, and he's like, "All right, so you want to start doing the program now?" And so through that, we became friends and everything, and he was always checking up on me, always chiming in and everything like that. I would help drive him around for media and stuff like that. Whenever he had interviews and stuff like that, met Jake through Dallas through that process. And, at that point, that's when he was getting ready to go over to Atlanta to, re-uproot over there. And then essentially that's where the resurrection of Jake the Snake started. So Dallas was chiming in and checking in with me every once in a while, just updating me about Jake and everything. And at that point, I lost about 25 pounds, but I didn't take the pictures. So I got a grilling, said, "Still okay, take the pictures now." So at that point, I lost 100 pounds at that point.
Whew.
And it was in a pretty quick turnaround time, I'd say about 8-9 months. And it was a really disciplined thing. And, even up to present day, I'm a roller coaster. I go up and down. It's well documented. But at that point, Dallas invited Tony Moser and myself to come out for a weekend and just hang out with the crib crew and everything like that. And I think it was a test just to see how we handled ourselves and everything like that. Do the workouts during the daytimes. We were helping filming some stuff. And you know, you had that, and that was back when it was just Scott, Jake, and Dallas in the place. I mean, people all worked there. And so to sit there and watch Monday Night Raw with those three guys, I mean, as you know, going back to like when I was a teenager and everything like that, that was surreal. It was amazing.
What did they think of it at the time?
Teenage you would have been fuck
were
off.
they shit talking the booking?
No, you know what's funny is I thought there was going to be a lot more negativity on their end, but they were actually, and I don't know, maybe it's because we were there, but like they were just like, well, they could have done this and they could have done that, and it was like you start to see in person Jake's psychology, but then you start to see Scott's underrated psychology. Like Scott,
he's one of the best.
Yeah, he's amazing, and you know, and Dallas. I mean, all those guys chime in, but it was constructive. You know, so it was really cool to hear like the alternate things that they would have done rather than what was going on at the time. So, and then after a couple months after that, I got called. I got a call from Steve Yu and from Dallas, basically inviting me, and it was probably October. It was October of 2013, because my dad was going through some heart issues, and so we were looking for a heart transplant and everything for my dad. He had a heart attack when I was in high school and everything, and then it just started. It was around that time where, you know, 12, 13 years later, things were starting to come back up again. So I was telling my parents, I can't really go. And both my parents are just like, you got to go. you got to go. And so Steve and Dallas were really patient with me. And in January, after New Year's, is when I started to make my way out there. And I'll always remember that my first day at work was when Jake returned to Raw. So I came in, and everyone was just like, it's kind of crazy and everything. And Dallas is going to go do old school Raw. And they're like, well, Garrett, since you don't really know anybody, just hang around afterwards. We're going to film everyone's reaction for Dallas on Raw. Cool. And then I'm like, where's Jake? And everyone's like, oh, he's running a little late. And then he shows up, and it's just like everyone's mouth drops and everything like that. So that was the start of it. And and then from January 2014 to, you know, up until now, because, you know, when the PC closed down, it's like my role obviously took a step back and everything like that. And it's just like, I'm still working for Dallas. I'm still working for the company, just on a very like hourly basis. I'm almost like an independent contractor and everything like that. So it's kind of like, I mean, obviously everyone got affected with the pandemic. It was just really weird when the PC closed down. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, if we open up again or if we don't open it again, it's kind of crazy that that was my last workout, my last class I had, you know. So
yeah, that's unreal. And like, what a whirlwind. And you know, you'd mentioned your parents. Like, I've interacted with your mom a little bit on social media. She seems like the most positive, like giving individual maybe like in the world. I could see her be like, oh, don't worry about your dad, you just go live your dream.
No, that's, like, I mean, and that's how it was. And I lucked out with my parents. I'm really close with them. I mean, for them to make such a monster that I am, such a villain that, I mean, but both of them are awesome. Like, my parents were always everybody's parents growing up. All my friends, they were always over at my house, and they're, you know, so yeah, they're awesome.
No, that's fantastic. So when you came into the program, obviously there's all kinds of you know, celebrities that kind of come through, both wrestling and then outside of wrestling. Who was your first like, oh shit, this is my life now kind of moment?
So, I mean, and that's the thing. It was getting to the point where we were like, you never know who's going to show up. So the top two for me was when Jericho came in to interview for Resurrection. Jericho is always my number one. And like, just throughout the years of like getting to know him, getting to know Rich Ward, getting to know the whole process and everything like that, that was surreal for me. And then, I mean, the other big one was when Steve Austin came in.
That's what I was wondering, if it was going to be Austin.
It was going to be Austin, and Dallas had always had this running joke because there were so many times where I was supposed to meet Austin and something would happen to where it would literally be like out one door throughout the other, and I just missed. So then it became a joke with like Dallas and Dylan, like, you're never going to meet Austin. But the thing about Austin that blew me away, and it's crazy, and I mean, it's been so long now that I can say it. Austin came in to see the PC, and he was actually checking out the specs to see if WWE wasn't going to pick up Broken Skull Ranch and everything like that. They were going to keep filming it at the PC.
Oh.
So they were
Wow.
trying. So that's when Steve came in. They interviewed Austin.
Hot take.
They interviewed. I know. You're getting some inside stuff. But, Dallas, Scott, and Jake all had their podcast episodes there. And the best thing is Dallas, just being Dallas, he had a talk with us the day before, and he's just like, guys, I've known Steve for a long time. He's one of my best friends over 30 years. He's a little standoffish. He's a little, just don't bother him. Don't mark out too bad, but just know it was kind of like don't meet your hero kind of thing. And then Austin comes in and couldn't have been any nicer. Just for a guy,
he set the bar nice and low for you.
Yeah, I know he did, and it was really cool to have one of the Mount Rushmores come in,
right,
and just
Absolutely.
be like, and I would just be sitting there on my computer and everything like that, and he'd come over and he'd be like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Fantasy football."
That's a really good impression.
That was not bad.
Hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, "Fantasy football," and he goes, "God damn, I don't know anything about that stuff. You gotta tell me how to do all this stuff." I mean, he was great. It was that one was like, okay, this is gonna be really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What a weird, like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was okay. I mean, I hung out with Steve Austin.
Yeah. And I mean, and the fact that Nathan got to be on the podcast and everything like that. I mean, Nathan is just that was amazing.
Right.
I would joke to him and I'd
even-
say, I mean, that was probably the lowest episode because no one knew who you were at the time. But I'm like, but that's amazing that he had you on the podcast.
And I even know who Steve Austin was before all this DDPY shit, honestly. Because,
I remember that with Boz and everything like that. I remember it had nothing to do with wrestling and everything like that. It was a totally different perspective for you, like when you came in and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously he'd done quite a few movies by that point, so I kind of liked him from that side of things already. So-
Yeah. It's super cool. Like when you run into those people that like we've talked about in the past, is there are people that associate Dallas with DDP yoga or DDPY that don't even know the wrestling background at all, or even there's a subsect that don't even realize, they remember maybe the motivational speaker gimmick that he ran, and then how he transformed that in, and that people are like, oh, he was a wrestler too, and it's like, yeah, he was. Same idea. Like it's not just Steve Austin. The what was he in? He was I know he was in the Deadly 10 or whatever, and then what was the one? The Death Race? Was he in Death Race?
He was in Death
think
Race.
So, and didn't he do the Stallone? What's the
Oh, was he in the Expendables?
Expendables? I'm sure he was
Yeah,
in one of the
Expendables.
Expendables.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's that whole other group of people too, where it's like the Rob Zombie movies, and then this new Netflix thing that's coming out, where it's like the convention world now. So there's like 3 areas where people are like, "Oh, I didn't know he did that,"
Yeah, it's just crazy. So you had mentioned just kind of skipping around from where we were here, but you've already kind of mentioned Nathan Mowry. Nate has a tendency to put you in every single music video that he's filmed. So how many cameos do you have so far?
It's amazing. I can't even keep track now, but what it is now is he's basically doing it because he pulled me from Resurrection. So you see my car for a half a second in that.
Oh, he edited you out?
Well, it wasn't his call, but it was always the running joke between Steve and Dylan and Nathan. Like for me coming in when Jake returned to Raw, they're like, we can't really bring in a new character in and everything like that. So it's like I was in the thick of it with Dylan and everything when it came to the sobriety and a lot of tough situations with Scott and Jake. But that was always my running joke, like, oh, okay, like you just completely just ignored the fact. And then they did Relentless, and then he bumped me out of that too. So now it's like his life's mission now to make sure that I was in some music video or sketch every time. So, I mean, it was always a running joke, but like Relentless, it was like another thing. It was like watching, and everyone's like, dude, that one instructor who was at the PC for like 2 weeks has more time than you did. You worked there for 7 years. Thank you so much.
You are a support pillar upon which everything else rests, my friend. And we all know that you're there, and without you, it collapses. That's what I'm saying.
The jack of all trades that's always tired. That's what it was. Everyone thought like I lived there too. Nietzsche always said, "I swear, there's like a cot around the corner, and like you just live there." I'm like, sometimes it was like that for sure.
To be fair, if they didn't cut you out of Resurrection, it would have been the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts featuring Garrett Sakahara. They would have to give you a subline, and yeah, you don't want to do that, you know.
Yeah, my lawyers made it really tough on them, so yeah, they had to cut me out.
Yeah, it's just legality from that standpoint.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, and that's what I was like. Every time he's like, "I got a new video coming out," I'm like, "All right, got to figure out where he is this time," because I know once it's gonna be like, I don't know if you ever watch Psych. They hide a pineapple in every episode. It's like, got to find the pineapple, got to find Garrett, because I know one time you're not gonna be in the video, but it'll be like a picture of you, or something, something,
or he'll be in a giant bunny costume or something.
Well, and the thing, and that Nathan is, I mean, and everyone knows, but like Nathan is the nicest, easiest person to work for. He's one of the best people on the planet. So it's like when all the success started happening, when all the success started happening, and everything like that, like still the same ego, still the same humbleness. Like you just want to work for him, and it's just like as he continues to expand and do stuff, it's just like good dude, like such a good dude. Like you want him to just achieve everything.
Yep.
I mean, I may be the exception because I kind of hate him, but that's only because he's so freaking talented. Every little thing he does involving video, because obviously that's something I'm involved with, I just like, I'm not even close. Not even slightly close. It's just innate talent.
It's professional hatred is what it is.
Yeah, yes,
that's true.
professional hatred.
That's a good term. I like that.
Professional.
Don't tell him I said that, though.
You know, they had talked about, Boz had mentioned that you're the pillar that DDPY is built on, and I honestly think that like if Dallas and Steve are like the brains of the operation, I think that you are the heart 100%. Like when I think of DDP yoga, you're one of the first people that come to my mind. When I first got into teaching, I would do your workouts continuously because I think the way that you approached instruction, I think was fantastic. And it was like how every instructor should at least want to find their own way. They should build it based on the way that you approached it. Because I think
really
you make it really acceptable.
No, I really appreciate that.
I don't know if you remembered or not, but at the Chicago workshop, Dallas actually referenced you because I think you were just doing video, you're taking photos or something along those lines.
Yeah, social media stuff, PR stuff.
Yeah, and Dallas had talked about how you should be up there on stage and how you might possibly be the best DDP yoga instructor at the Performance Center. And I always thought, I'm like, you know, that's pretty high praise, considering there were some pretty good instructors on stage as well, you know, Dallas included. Has he told you that, like in talking, like they believes that or no? Now he just smoke up your ass.
No. And the thing that's crazy is I think it's one of those things where later I start to hear it because it's like one of those things with Dallas. Like he obviously love the guy. He's changed my life and everything like that, and he's done a lot for me. But it's kind of like that tough dad where like he's really he's tough on his employees, he's tough on his family, but it's all out of love. But then I also think there's a part where it's just like he will go to these workshops or go to these things and brag about us to everybody. But at the time, we wouldn't necessarily hear it, you know. But like now, ever since the pandemic, you know, I put on the Pandemic 30 and everything like that. But like now I'm starting to hear it more, you know. And it's like even when the mindset and the self-esteem isn't where it used to be right now, like I'm getting such high praise that sometimes I'm like, do I deserve it? Do I not deserve it right now? But like, I hear it from people later and they're just like, oh yeah, you know, Dallas is really putting you over and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. You know, because
and bear in mind, wherever you are personally in your, you know, your fitness journey, whatever, I can relate a lot. What you know about how to be an instructor and how to call cues and everything else is just that's innate to you now. That's there, and your own personal level kind of doesn't matter because it's the thing I love about DDPY is you can be sitting in a chair broken like our friend Steve Hyland's going to be, and he'll still call a workout, you know, and it will still be good.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this program, and that's, you know, Dallas had that talk with me because, you know, I wasn't going to be an instructor at any point. I mean, I was there trying to learn the editing process. It was a social media thing. It was a PR thing. He knew that I loved to do acting and do sketches and everything like that. So he wanted to bring a more like fun element to that stuff. Oh, what a gag reel that was.
That's my favorite one.
I wish I could tell you guys that I was improvising on that. No, it was really a struggle that day. But it was one of those things where between Dallas, Christina, Hayden, and Stevie Richards, they're just like, you should do this. And like, again, this is like a long time ago, and it was just like, that doesn't make any sense. And then you should teach here, and then maybe teach a class at the PC. Well, let's not get crazy, because when Stevie exited, that was like right when I just got certified. So it was like you're going into the lion's den. Stevie had a following, and like some
Still
people
does.
might, of course, and they might like my personality, but can I give them a workout? So I fell on my face a lot. And it was one of those things where you just learn and repetition. And I questioned myself a lot. So if it wasn't for that core crew and everything like that, it wouldn't have happened. And then you're certified, but you're not, until you get the reps and everything like that. I didn't say I was a decent instructor until about a year and a half in. And it's just
I'd say
like,
the same.
Because it's just like, and then you start to realize, and then it was one of those things where it's like, if I had the workout on a sheet on the floor and everything like that, and if you missed a little thing and everything like that, your world's over.
Oh, it derails you.
Yeah, and then you have like Christina and Hayden. They're like, these people didn't know. They knew once you sold it that you left that move out, but they didn't know what you were going to do. It's all those little things and everything like that. And then it's just like, then you start to find a groove and everything like that. And then you start to get a following. And it's just, again, the everyman workout, the everyman approach that I was working out with them. And I wasn't sitting there reprimanding and telling them what to do,
Yeah, the drill instructor approach that Hayden uses, that's what I enjoy. But that's not for everybody. And I think that there is something to be said for the way that you approach workouts and the way that like Pat McDermott would approach a workout, kind of similar. But I mean, still to this day, I think you probably get tagged at least 6 or 7 times a week for your did stand up with Big G today, and they all tag you. And I mean, that's a big go-to for a lot of people still. On the app, and that was like 2018, 2019.
And everyone, Stevie and Christina were like, what's going to be your niche? What's going to keep you stand out and everything like that? And I always appreciated those stand-up workouts. And so it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, let's film it or something like that. Garrett, if you fall, don't edit it out. Keep it in. If you have a bad balance,
make somebody else.
Yeah, keep it, because then it's just like, it's those workouts that I would hear from people saying that was awesome. Like you didn't have the perfect workout and you didn't have like the perfect call. I don't ever want them to edit anything out. Keep everything in, and it's but the balance thing was definitely where it was like starting to be my thing. And like what you just said, Ryan, like I would encourage people would be like, well, I don't like your workout because your workout is too tough. I would never get offended by that, because I said there's a different flavor for somebody, everything like that. And I said it was one of those things where I said this is gonna be a really hard workout, and it wasn't. That's one thing, but I'm like, I want to be the training wheels. I want to be exactly when I walked into the gym at 400 pounds, and people would look at me and I didn't feel like I belonged. Never ever wanted that at the PC. Never wanted, I'm going to have the 40 playlists. I'm going to have the 50 playlists, every single theme and everything like that. And we're going to have fun. And again, there were people, I wanted to get in there, work out, sweat, and get out of there. So maybe some people didn't like, but I'm like, if we're going to have to work out today, let's have fun, And that was my approach. That was like my theme.
And that's where I look up to you massively, because you are the king of the goof off. The the comedy bit, the costume. I've embraced all of that in my workouts. People never know what they're going to get, and I think you inspired me greatly on that.
There was
to
there
the
was
point
work
that
I
when
went- Oh, go ahead.
I was to the point where I wanted to do something goofy at the PC, I had to run it past Garrett. No one.
Oh yeah, I remember.
This is
yeah.
your thing. I need to make sure you're cool
Talk,
with it.
right? The niche. Don't want a gimmick infringement. I was doing a workout with Hayden that I hadn't done forever, and there's a part where you're in a gator hold or something, and then you come up and do something to him. I don't know what it was, but you could hear him under his breath go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It was like an arm bar, wasn't it, or something?
Camel clutch, wasn't it?
Yeah. You took over, and I'm just like, "Yep." And I'm not breaking hold, but yeah, it just just little things like that. That little bit of levity is fantastic, and I think you break, like when Hayden was on, he talked about how Dallas would give him a hard time about using his tough guy voice. And I think you bringing that levity into that workout, you could hear him break. He's like, count it back, 5, 4. What are you doing?
I wish there was a way that you guys could see everything, because like when we were filming, if I wasn't on stage or if I wasn't doing it, I was on the TriCaster doing all that stuff. So I would sit there and call things for people to do. Like when I had, like, I think I had maybe Danny do something, I had David do something just to mess it up, or even there might be some workouts. And again, we're going behind the curtain on a lot of this stuff. There'd be a workout where I'd be in the back and I would have my headset on. So then like you have Nathan or somebody saying, all right, I want you to go up and touch the instructor's leg without it being obvious. So then it started to become like just going up and just doing that.
Just
and
the
they're like,
GoPro.
yeah, just something like that. Where let's just have fun. And again, yeah, because sometimes Hayden would get in that really serious mentality, and I'm like, you need to ease up, and then that's where you would just do something like that. And it was just like, after the workout, he'd give me a big hug, smile, and goes, I hate you so much.
No, that's awesome. You kind of pulled the curtain back and talked about instructors having like their own niche. Is that like active discussions you would have? Like Christina is kind of like the more aerobic, Hayden's kind of like the tougher push-up guy. Is that kind of...
I think for them, they were naturally found their way. I think when I came in, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But the key thing was find your own voice. So even Dallas had told me, he came up to me and he would watch my classes and pull me aside and be like, I want you to be a little more gruff, a little bit more. I said, I can't. I go, because these people know that that's not my voice. So all of a sudden, if I start to do that, what happened to Garrett?
It's fake.
Yeah, exactly. And, but that was the thing. And then it was like when I would mentor people and everything like that, I go, I know that you have to do these cues by word and everything like that. But if you go in any of my workouts on the app, you'll never hear me say, you're a dead man, dead woman. You'll never hear me say a couple things because those are Dallas's lines. So I don't want to have a rehearsed line in there. I would have a rehearsed line that would be my own that I would always kind of go to for my workouts. But, that was the key. So it's like whether you're trying to find your niche, trying to find what your go-to is, but just to remember to have your own voice and everything.
Yeah, I do a London parody of that. So whenever I finish, I say, "You is dead people in it." I've always done it.
I like that.
Like something from the streets. Yeah. Fitting, it. Yeah. That's awesome. Garrett, I don't know if you can really approach a subject or not. I don't want to get you in trouble, but being a member of the PC and a staff member there, is there pressure to be athletic, to be fit, to be kind of all in on it?
So, like I said, I would say there's a good middle part. So I've been here for 7 years. I would say from like maybe years 3 to 5, it was a little bit of pressure. And I'm just one of those people that, whether it's my teaching or whether how I'm taught, I don't do well with that. So there was some butting heads for a little while and everything like that. And, but obviously, like a lot of people in the community, your hardest critic is going to be yourself. Yeah. So for me, for Dylan, and there's a couple other the OG people in the community that we would privately message each other and just check in on each other, because it was one of those things where, wow, like, and I've gotten a lot of that where it's just like, how is it over there with you with that? some people I can say some stuff. Some people I'm like, just keep it as is. But yeah, there was some pressure. But like I said, I feel like ever since COVID started, ever since the pandemic started and everything like that, I think there's a different approach. And again, now it's just like I even talked to D today, and I'm just like, I think I'm finally ready. And honestly, I think what really turned things around was this last Jericho cruise. It was a really weird thing because, I've been struggling with my depression and everything really, really hard. And it's just like, but I'm an entertainer, and I guess a Capricorn. I don't want to put people out and everything like that. So it's just like, I will internalize everything despite how I feel. But like, I think there's a lot of struggle. I think if you're a really close friend of mine, you'll know. But if not, I feel like I try to mask it pretty good. But I was on the cruise with Josh McAdoo, and he was making fun of me every time it happened.
That's Hayden's best friend, right?
He's some guy from Mars.
I've heard he's a dick.
I've heard all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's the worst. But on this cruise, because Dallas wasn't on the cruise and everything like that, it's just kind of like, I'm just here to enjoy myself and everything like that. And I'd say about 20, 25 people at some part during the cruise came up and either wanted a picture or wanted a Team Red headband or tell a story and everything like that. And it really blindsided me.
Told you, man, you're the fucking heart.
The first guy came up to me, and again, I apologized to him because I didn't want it to come off rude. This guy's come up on the shoulder. He's like, "Can I get a selfie with you?" And I said, "Do you even know who I am?" And he goes, "Yeah, dude,
you're Mr. Fuji."
Yeah, I work out with you like 2-3 days.
I got your shoe on eBay.
Oh, you're Arthur, aren't you? Oh, don't go down that one. Not that one.
I know. That one always blows me away. That one I actually want to just call people out and be like, I guess, but like, no, like you'd be severely disappointed.
Did you say I'm way faster?
But like that guy wanted a picture, and like it kept happening, and like, and Josh, oh God, the fact that I'm actually like, he actually got pretty sentimental at one point. He was just like, no, I think this is what you need to hear. I think you need to hear and see this stuff and everything like that. So it really kind of changed the mindset and everything like that. And I talked to D about it, and again, D's just like, he's like, I left you alone for the pandemic because I know you're capable and I know you can do it. It's just when you're ready. And that's a different approach than what it's been a couple years back.
He's a grandpa now, man. He's a lot more understanding, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, he's.
But also, I think he knows when to push. He's learned, because he's been doing this a lot of years now. He's learned when pushing works and when backing off works. Because I'm sort of learning the same in my little circles in a much lesser degree. But I do get a sense of, if I push this person, I'm going to push them away, and I don't want to do that. They've got to leave the door open.
Yeah, and it's been very refreshing. It's been very refreshing, and it's really helped out a lot. I know a lot of people, struggle with depression and everything like that, and I really haven't experienced this since 1999, 2000, when I had the robbery and everything like that. It's like I've always been up, I've always been busy. So like when the PC closed down, man, it's just like, what's the next chapter? Where do you go? You're at the crossroads of your life at 43. Do you still want to do this? Because my whole mentality is like, I want to get healthy for me. But it's like, I also love helping people, but I also love to be entertaining. So it's trying to find that next niche of what do you want to do, or if you want to stay. So there's just been a lot of reflection and a lot of time to like, kind of like, I don't know.
Do you have a target or a goal, or are you just kind of ready to start getting those gears moving and start making better choices?
I think there's something that's a possibility for something, and I wish I could break it to you guys, but things haven't been confirmed. So I'm going to vague book you on that. But
no, you're good. I can already make the assumption it's going to be the resurrection of Garrett Sakahara, filmed by Nathan Mallory. You heard it here first, folks.
But Garrett will actually not be in it. But Garrett will actually be cut out.
Yeah, you will not be in
but
it. It's gonna be an awful movie.
Just to be rotoscoped out of every shot.
He'd be like,
be
tell me
Garrett's
again why
empty
I'm wearing
couch.
this green suit the whole day.
Speak Garrett's empty couch.
What was it? It was like that FBI, just that blue dot the entire time. It's just gonna. That's what's gonna be. But things are kind of going on to where there are goals for certain months now. So I'm like,
Awesome.
yeah, it'd be kind of cool just to like feel better, just to just get into that routine again and everything like that. So, and then again, it's like so cool to hear from people from Instagram messages or from Facebook messages like, when are you going to show up on the app again and everything? And when you're not in the right place, sometimes it gets annoying. But then when you and of course I'm always going to be like, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's like a relevant thing. But I think also now it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of motivating. Like, let's get back on there. And Dallas is always saying like, whenever you're ready. And I'm like, but I'm not going to come in like jacked or anything, but I just want to be presentable and like the Garrett that everybody knows,
Yeah, that's just who you are, though, man. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's the presence and the energy you bring to the stage and to the workout. Like, even though, like, in the middle of pandemic, you joined Travis' group for a workout, and
Phenomenal workout.
you
by
were
the way. Phenomenal.
yeah, and you were so self-deprecating during that, and you're like, no, sorry guys, sorry, and it's like, dude,
It
no
was
way,
a great.
man.
I mean, people
It's
loved it
exactly what
too.
people wanted.
People just want to see
And-
you.
Yeah.
And like, and like,
More.
and I don't mind, again, talking behind the curtain, but I mean, I had so many conversations with Travis of reservation to do this. There's a lot of months and everything like that where I'm just like, no. And then it's like, okay, well, let's start getting a regimen. Let's start doing this. And it was like, got up through that workout, turned it off, and I'm like, I feel pretty good, but damn it, I'm tired. And it was just a tag team workout. So what it was it was that path, like, okay, you could just keep it going, but then I kind of stopped doing it again. But now it's like, and I think what I want to do, I mean, obviously I'm saying it here on the podcast or anything like that, but I wanted to approach it differently, where it's like, I think a lot of times, whether it's like, hey guys, it's social media, I'm starting today, we're going hard and everything like that, and it's like, I don't want to set myself up for that again. Mm-hmm. Like, I might document
We see it a
myself.
lot.
Yeah, I might
myself.
document it myself. I might, check in and everything like that. But I don't want to. There's a pressure with the social media stuff and everything, and especially if it's like a PC employee or someone really connected to the company.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just want to do it for me.
Approach it from
And
a
through
wellness
that-
aspect.
Yeah,
From a wellness aspect.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, every time we see one of those, hey guys, I'm back, it's like, okay, and then you just like, you're hoping for the best, and you want, and it's like hard and heavy with the updates, and everything's going good, and then like week 3 comes and they're just ghosted again. It's like, damn it, and I think that people, they approach that and they do it that way because they think, okay, I'm going to put this out there for accountability, but accountability is one thing, and dedication and discipline is something completely different. And like still to this day, I work out every day because I'm afraid that if I don't, then one day might turn to 2, and 2 turns to a week.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to find what works for you. Stop that
And we
shit,
all-
Oz.
It's the truth. I'm just honest.
And we all know the toxicity of social media. Like I tell people, it's just like, if you look at my social media, I'm always going to try to post something positive or something funny. It's like, you're never going to get like something controversial or something, kind of
Divisive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, but like, I can sit there and again, doing social media for DDP for all those couple of years, which is probably one of the hardest jobs to do, just because you're constantly looking for stories and everything like that. But the whole thing of like, I'm putting this out there for accountability, but then also it's just like, I need some self-esteem, so let's get some likes, let's get some comments. And then when you're on day 27 in a row where people aren't going to be as, they know you're going to post every day. Oh, there's not as many likes. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? There's a whole like there could be a whole class on like social media and just like maybe how to handle it, maybe how to manage it, maybe how to make it not so life consuming and everything.
You need to do it like the old infomercial. Set it and forget it.
Hey guys, I'm back, and then it's like, where'd that dude go? And then like a year from now, you come back and like, see, I told you. Look at me. That's awesome. You earlier you'd referenced that you're kind of like not necessarily at the PC regularly. I know you still do a lot of filming stuff. You've appeared actually in the app recently. I think Dallas kicked open the door once, and you're back there filming. That was
Probably,
pretty funny.
yeah.
You had a little computer. But you're doing, at least from what I pick up on social media, you're hanging with Jake a lot. You guys went to a couple cons. Are you kind of like just is that an employee capacity or friendship? Like, what are you doing there? Are you just kind of helping him, kind of like what you did with Dallas?
I think Jake has kind of offered me to do stuff like that as maybe it's like a full-time thing, but I just have like he's family. Like we've been through so much. When we were living together, it was rough, and there were some times where it's like, oh my God. But now it really is like family with him, and it was getting to the point where like a couple of years ago when he was doing his comedy shows and everything like that, he would go to California. He would call up my parents or text my parents and invite them, and I'm not even around, and I'm just like, that's awesome. So like my parents like
he was going to invite himself round to theirs.
He's like
I'm home, maybe some sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Jake calls and everything like that, it's not like sometimes you might get those personalities, celebrities, wrestlers or whatever, and it's when you see the phone call, you're like, oh, well, what do they need? But like Jake's just like checking in, and I mean, it's easy. It's easy to work for him. He's a grump, but I mean that's his thing, and that's the best thing about the cons and everything like that. Is like he'll like kind of intimidate the little kids, but the parents are loving it because the parents are the ones that grew up on him.
Yeah,
so
real
it's
heel.
just like, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, doing the cons and stuff like that. He just so happened to be on the cruise and everything. We're hanging out, so it's good. I mean, it's. I think I'm going to be seeing some more of him in the coming months and everything like that, which is going to be awesome.
Can you give us a crazy fan interaction story?
Oh man. Well, I tell you what, going and doing New York Comic Con for 4 days in a row, like it's draining because and I don't want to make people mad, but
you don't have to.
Convention people.
We don't have many people.
It's okay. People are dicks.
So you're good. You're wasting about an hour and a half of your time.
People know what they are. Con people are aware of who they are.
Con people are interesting. Wrestling people are interesting. So when you mix the two together, so like Jake wanted to do, we were going to film this video where it was like the do's and don'ts when you go to a con and everything, but we didn't put it out. But it was kind of like one of those things where there's the people who they see what the prices are for a picture, but they'll just get their camera out from behind the table and take a picture. And I'm like...
It's all screened off at London. You can't do that with the big names.
I'm like, I know what you're doing. Or like, the best is like... And the thing that's amazing about Jake is despite all the drugs and all the alcohol, the guy is still one take Jake when he does like promos and stuff like that. He's amazing. But then when you get people where they come up and they're like, hey man, so back in like 1987 in Michigan, I ran into you at the gas station, and we talked for about 5 minutes. You remember that? Jake's like, no.
Was the gas cheap then?
Did you buy a tank for me? Otherwise, there's not a chance.
Yeah. Or like, it's kind of like if you remember the Chris Farley show on Saturday Night Live, they'll just come up and be like, you remember that time when you pulled your snake out and it bit Macho Man? That was awesome. And it's just like...
What do you say to that?
It's just... Jake's like, cool, but like they... There was this guy who was at the crazy convention, and we had a booth, and we were right next to Jerry Lawler, JR, Matt Cardona, RVD, Katie Forbes, and this guy came up, and like we just knew, like he was sitting there talking to Jake for about 5 minutes, and 5 minutes felt like about 2 hours, where he's just like, "Hey man," and like people are waiting to pay and everything like that. So Jake's like, hey, and so as handler, I have to be the bad guy. You don't have Jake being the bad guy. I'm just like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry, but if you're not gonna do anything, you got to move along and everything like that." And so he was just like looking at Jake. He's just like, "How's Hulk Hogan doing?" Jake's like, "I don't know," And then the best is he goes over to Jake or to Jerry Lawler and JR, and Jake covered his mouth, trying not to laugh. And this guy's like, "Hey man, so you guys are pretty good, but Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, like they're like the best, Jesse Ventura, but you guys are probably like 4th, 5th best and everything like that. So, I mean, we were dying and everything like that."
Hey! Is that baby oil?
Hey, Garrett.
It's always baby oil.
Does he smell like baby oil?
Well, the best is like he walked into the workout, and like I think Paige was like, "Are you look at your tan?" And like everyone's just like,
"Is that radioactive?"
You got the whitest eyes.
Actually, the last 2 episodes we've put out late because Boz has to adjust the color on Tom Sawyer only, and
it's got nothing to do with Comic-Con.
So damn, it just blows it out. Our digital cameras just don't pick up red very well.
Grading takes ages. Garrett knows this.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use a red camera just to make sure everything's consistent and everything like that.
Yeah, I got a question. Like, are you scared of snakes?
No, for some reason I'm not. I probably should.
So if he ever springs one on you, you'll be okay. Because I can imagine him doing something like that.
I'm scared of like really harmless insects, though.
Oh,
like has anybody tried to get him to sign a snake?
No,
that must have happened. No,
I'm sure that's happened, but like nowadays, no. But like he's serious. Like people think he's like ribbing them and everything like that, but he does not like snakes.
Right. I remember him saying that.
He's saying that in interviews, and everyone's like, "No, you're just saying that." You're like, "No." He's like, when you get bitten by them enough times, you don't like them. And then he goes, and when Vince McMahon presents you with an idea with all this cash on the table, he goes, you say yes, and you smile when you do it, but no, he doesn't like them. He doesn't like them whatsoever.
But I think being a wrestler, there's an element of fearlessness that goes with it, and he just puts that facade up, and when he handles a snake, it looks like he doesn't give a shit. And like, I used to keep snakes, so I like them, but I have a healthy respect for them, but when they strike, it is scary. There's no two ways about it. So.
No, and I'm sure if you put like a king cobra or a rattlesnake in front of me, it'll be different, but for the most part, I'm not scared of snakes. Like he would have like a big boa and everything like that at any show, put it on me, it's fine. Now Dylan is deathly afraid. Like if I send him YouTube or TikTok videos with huge snakes and everything like that, like he won't even open it.
Wow.
So when Jake put it on Dylan for a show, I mean Dylan's like, that was
he in character? Because how do you break that character? You can't, right?
No, I know. But it wasn't Sunny Days where you have that like. It was like Bulldog James Dillon. So it was like he could, but you could tell that smile. I think you might see footage of it in Resurrection where it's just like I'm smiling, but it's like in Ransom with Mel Gibson when the kid sees Gary Sinise in the final scene and there's just pee running down his leg, like just out of fear. It's probably like that. Weird reference, I know, but I like using that reference.
Love it.
It's a solid reference. Okay, so we have our crazy Jake fan story. Give me a crazy Garrett fan story.
I got one for you.
And look. Wait, does it involve George Fenmore?
No, look.
no, George is that George isn't that bad. George isn't that bad.
I know.
I'm trying to think of. I haven't gotten any really crazy things, but I think it's always just one of those things where, like, when I begin to PC in that office, right when you look to the right and everything like that, and people actually, when the Rumblings came the first time, scared the hell out of me because I was sitting at the desk and I don't know if it was
Stephen Kalen, and was
Yeah.
John Ray with them? John Ray's usually in tow.
No,
Okay.
it was the first time. It was just the two of them. But it was one of those things where I'm sitting there working on the keyboard and everything like that. Oh my god, it's Garrett! And I'm like, holy,
Oh my god.
And again, I'm just Garrett. But to them, it was like, I mean, I thought we were having an open fire or something like
Was
that.
it
But
like that
was-
scene where that kid sees Gary Sinise? and
and then just running down my leg. Just a puddle. I think every interaction that I have is kind of a crazy fan thing because, again, for me, it's always really surprising and really cool when people are kind of excited about that. So,
Well, we fanboyed out one time. We, detoured around from Florida, came down, stayed overnight, did 2 of your classes the next day, and then buggered off and went on down to Florida. That was fun.
but I didn't pee myself when I met you guys.
Yeah, we didn't really
That you
freak
know
out. I was telling Robin, it's
he does have some pretty weird photos, but
It's
Garrett.
I did promise I have to send some regards. I've got a picture to help remind you of this special moment. There's not many men I would let do this.
Oh,
Lavinia says hi. You're very cozy in that
So
picture.
Whoa.
So she wanted to
To
make
be
sure I
fair,
said hi.
that
and-
works. I mean, that's a genuine smile, boss. That's
Yeah, it is. Yeah, she doesn't do that when she's in that position with me. So it's it's slightly worrying.
because
that
you
photo.
usually have two lightsabers in your hand.
I have this picture, and it's one of my favorite pictures ever. It was when John Morrison came to the PC, and Laura was sitting right next to him, and it's the butterfly smile, giddy picture, and Hayden and I couldn't love that picture anymore, and it's just and I remember Hayden would always say, "All right, if there's one pass, it'd be John Morrison," but that picture is one of my favorite pictures of all time, just because the absolute glee that Laura had right next to Morrison.
that smile.
Amazing. I got one more kind of funny one. Let me just figure out where. Oh yeah, here it is. How much do you hate Summit? I just remember after 3 days of Summit, I was like, "Say how you holding up?" And you're like, "Awful." I was just like, "Yeah, I get that."
I was thinking the location of that office is unfortunate for you. That's all I can say.
Well, so whether it was Pat or it was Hayden and everything like that, you have to go in with a solid game plan, because at that point, you have these meetings with all the people at the PC and everything like that. But for the most part, Dallas and Steve are just kind of it's your guys' babies. We'll go to the agenda, we'll lay everything out and everything like that, but it's your guys' job. So I think the thing with Summit is, I always will say, it is super rewarding.
Oh, yeah.
It is super rewarding, and and I would say even now, ever since the PC closed down, I haven't been as good as knowing everybody's story and everything like that. But when we're there, I mean, it's a good solid 2 months of we're knowing these stories inside and out, getting to know the people before you meet them and everything like that. And the problem is you have normal days of work with normal classes of teaching, and then that Wednesday night, which is even part of Summit, you have a good 20, 30 people that are already there. And then you go into Summit, and it's, what did Hayden and I say? It was about 15, 17-hour work days.
I would say, yeah,
And then-
I would assume you guys are there for at least 15 hours a day, if not more.
So
On top of the post stuff activities.
Yeah, so we would get in each day around 5:30, 6 to mop the floors up, get ready for those classes for check-ins and everything like that. And then you have the post dinners and stuff like that. But then also it's and Hayden and I go back to the PC to clean up, to make sure it's ready for the next day. But then when everyone leaves after that Sunday night or Monday, there's not a couple days to recover. You're going right back into your classes and everything like that. And that's what makes it exhausting. So that's why I always made sure after every Summit, we always took that employee picture where we're all dead on the floor, on the stage and everything like that.
Yeah.
But with all that said, I mean, it is super rewarding. It is for having a place like the PC to go whether it was a vacation destination, whether it was a goal destination. Like, hey, if I get to a certain place or anything like that, I want to go to the PC. And then you see people walking in like, wow, this is the place. So it's super rewarding, but at the time, I'm not going to lie. I mean, you're exhausted.
It's like
And
four
again,
straight
it's-
Black Fridays for you guys. That's kind of what it's, it's like.
Cool.
4 in a row.
And there'd be so many times where like Hayden and I would either text each other or something like that, and it's just like, can you give me 5? And we would literally go into the employee offices just to like sit there and like sit down and breathe, take a deep breath, go back out. You know, so yeah, I mean, again, we could joke about it and say, but again, it is a really cool experience. I just wish we had more hands on deck, or we just had, I don't want to say a little bit more structure, but like there's always the pressure where it's just like, man, people are flying in from all over the world. I want to make
Right.
sure that it's worth it for them to come in and everything like that, you know? So,
Well, I can tell you,
but-
it was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, it was
Yeah.
still to this day one of the best things I ever did. It was awesome. You guys were very welcoming. I saw how much you had on your plate, and you put on the most welcoming and positive face that I think you could. You probably took like 700 photos, and half of them were in that photo shoot. You know, you were just. I think you made everybody feel like they were the only person there, and so. You did
And
great.
I have to say, when the Brits all arrived en masse the day before Summit, Garrett gave us a personal tour of the PC, and that was surreal in many ways. But when
I
you
love
took
the
us
Brit
through,
crew.
there were the genuine tears in eyes at that point. I'm telling you. So,
Even Will.
maybe not Will.
Okay, good. I say we don't want you to lie on video.
I said I love the Brit crew, everybody except for Hayden. I was always like, love that crew, but
See, now that's something that I've never been able to experience, a workshop, obviously a summit, anything like that.
Yet.
Yet. And I mean, I love hearing the stories coming from those that were in attendance, what you were able to do there, Garrett, even though I know that it's a long, exhausting time. And man, I can't wait until I can see something like that coming back again, even if it's years in the future. You know, there's still those of us that never had that opportunity to be able to do it. And man, we're just chomping at the bit to be able to, you know, experience that.
and
You're going to
have
need a bigger
so-
boat.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And there's so many things that I think it's like, again, I'm within earshot of hearing some things and everything like that, but like, I feel like there's a lot of cool things coming up. I mean, damn pandemic and everything, but I think there's some really cool opportunities and things coming up.
At 5:30 Eastern, 4:30
So
Eastern.
I don't know. I just feel like if everyone holds tight, because there's so many cool new stories, there's so many cool new transformations there and like that, and they should be. I don't know if it's rewarded, but they should be highlighted. People should know their stories too and everything like that. You know, it's just because we had this thing happen, like no, but it continually still generates these awesome stories and everything. So.
Yeah, and I think the plan before COVID made a lot of sense that you were looking to split it into two. So you had like the success story side of it, but then you were looking to do something separate, more instructor focused, because obviously it's instructors and transformations all at one thing. That's too many people now. You got to split that up.
Oh, by the way, now that you mentioned that, Boz, and responding back to Ryan's question, what did you think of Summit? Being the person that wrote that email or wrote that post out that we were going to split it in two and that we weren't going to do it, I was public enemy number one. I got so much crap from everybody, and I'm like, guys, my go-to line was, you guys think I have way more pull at this company than you think I did. You thought I was the one that decided
in the group
that.
message. Yeah.
Oh, it was brutal. And then so the running joke from Adam Metter and McAdoo and Hayden and everything like that, they always text Garrett, do you have the schedule, or do you know what the itinerary is and everything like that? But yeah, I remember, and everyone's like, oh, Garrett, it's gonna be so good. And for about 2 or 3 weeks, my inbox and everything was just like, why would you do this? I'm like, oh, thank you for thinking I had that pull, man.
I actually heard that Garrett started the pandemic, so he wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have to do it twice.
It was less work to have a worldwide outbreak.
And then I got bored, so I came up with the Delta variant, and
And somehow gave it us first. How did that work?
my murder hordents didn't last too long. We made the news, didn't actually.
I was really
that
disappointed.
One. Yeah, so
This is
I thought they could make some good
next level
merchandise
villainy.
movies.
So, just to kind of finish this up and wrap it up, because I know you are a busy dude. You've had a little bit of minor roles with like Southern Honor Wrestling. I know you've done some. Were you a manager? I think for a couple people. And then I don't know if you've taken any bumps. Have you taken bumps?
So when I first got here, they were doing a video for Dylan, and so Jake and Scott were doing it, and they had me take bumps where I was just literally falling, just taking a bunch of bumps, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, this hurts a lot. This
Like it says, you
sucks.
can't fake gravity, right?
Yeah.
Hold on,
it
didn't
sucks.
Danny smash you into a table yesterday?
Danny,
I just saw that on my Instagram.
I just want all of
I heard
you
that was Photoshop.
Now, I just want you to understand that she really is a mean girl. It really is. It's really unfortunate because she could be a nice person, but
She found her voice, though.
finally. But yeah, the biggest bump that I took was at that Superstars of Wrestling, and I usually post it maybe once every couple of years. I was Sunny Days' manager. It was a show in Rome, Georgia, and that was like after that show, I didn't have to do anything ever again because it was like you interfere in a match. I cut a heel promo at the end of the match, and then that's when Dallas came down and gave me and Dylan diamond cutters. And like just being it's always true. Being the bad guy is always so much more fun. But like Rome, Georgia, sitting there and like Dylan's like, do you know what you're gonna say for your promo? I'm like, yeah, just I have something and I'll wing it. So the best part is having Dylan pop in character. Like he mouths it, but then he kind of covers up, and I'm like basically telling a whole hick town that they all have the same last name, and it's so gratifying.
Their family
It's so
tree
fun.
is just one
yeah,
branch.
just one branch and everything like that. And but then like Dallas comes down, and Dallas had told me, he's like, I'm like, are you gonna give me a diamond cutter? He's like, no. I'm like, what? Come on. And he's like, I'm gonna give you 3 chops. I'm like, oh, come on, give me that. He's like, you're not a worker, dude. And I'm like,
That was a good Dallas.
tell me what to do. And he's like, okay, if you want to know, just like go out and do a plank position when you go down. And like, but he goes, I'm not going to give it to you. I'll decide when I'm out there. So if you see it like and everything like that, when he grabs me and he puts me in the headlock, I'm sitting there giddy like a kid. And then it happened. And so then like happens, and then I limp. I think I crawl back to the thing while Dallas does his promo. And I said like after that, it's just like I think it was really cool. Like if I was like 10, 15 years younger, maybe I'd go into Nightmare Factory and maybe learn how to take like manager bumps and everything like that. But I'm old. I feel everything. So
See, after that diamond car, I'd have just played it on for like 3 days. You dislocated my shoulder.
What's our short-term disability program like?
I knew I was happy when I got crawled back and Jim Mabes texted me and said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Yes.
Yep, sold it.
Nailed it.
yes."
So that let's say you were 10 to 15 years younger, and you're at Nightmare Factory, and Tony Khan calls you in, and he wants you to be an on-screen talent, and money and licensing is no issue. What's your walkout track?
Ooh. I know you guys want me to say the Vapors or...
No, that's extremely racist.
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I feel like... So I had...
Fuck.
So I had 3 songs. When I was growing up, I always thought Stone Temple Pilots Down was like a really cool heel entrance song. Like just the way it all starts and everything like that. But like I feel like for a hype song or anything like that, like Bulls on Parade, Rage Against the Machine, or even like Higher Ground, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I always thought were like really cool just to get energy and stuff
Best
like that.
version of it. Yep.
Yeah, no, and that was one of the things too, where it was just like you have that list of like covers that were actually better than the originals, and I always said no disrespect to Stevie Wonder, but that song was like it always hyped me up and everything.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Not the
Awesome.
Imperial March then.
Yeah. That might cost some money.
Oh God, yeah. Especially now
Last,
Disney own it.
Yeah.
Last quick fire is best thing about working with DDPY.
I think it really is. I mean, and it sounds so cliche, but it really is helping change people's lives. To be put in a spot to be able to help people, to be that coach. Because I also thought last year before everything closed up, when we were doing like DDPY Lab with King Warren at the PC, that was a really cool opportunity to have like a lot of the local people who were going through certification and like really, dialing down and everything like that. And I always told people I felt like I was a better teacher than I was an instructor for classes.
Right.
And it made you become a better instructor doing stuff like that. So like, I always thank Dallas for putting me in the position to where he's like, it's the perfect gig, because he's like, you can entertain the masses, but then you can also help people. So I was always thankful for that opportunity. And, moving forward to end off 2021 in a great path and then start to really amp back up 2022, I think it can come back again too,
Yeah, I think that was a really good idea. Just especially kind of try and create something organic and those next instructors at the PC and source them from, because a lot of those people are active members. Like I know Tina Miller was in there and a lot of other people. So yeah, that was a smart idea. And then our final standard question we throw to everybody. It's a hypothetical fist fight, but this time we're going to do a battle royal. And to not put you in hot water with the big guy, Dallas is going to be the guest referee.
Oh.
So who do you putting money on? These are former PC employees or current DDPY employees that are also wrestlers. So I'm going to go with these people are all in the same match. Danny Jordan, Nathan Mowry, who has recently got into hardcore wrestling.
Yeah.
Ashton Starr, Dylan Freimeyer, or Sunny Days. He could be two. I don't know. He could do the dude love mankind approach.
Sure.
Or Stevie Richards.
I will put Dylan last, and that's not even an insult. As Booker, he's kind of in that Cody role. He can't put himself.
Can't put yourself over, brother.
Yeah, you can't put yourself over. You can get your stuff in, but you can't.
I'm gonna get my stuff in, but I'm going out on my back.
But yeah, exactly. I feel like Nathan is still green in the learning process, and he's too nice. But I feel like where he can go. I'm gonna go with, and Danny and Ashton are roommates.
Oh, could we throw David Ali in there too? I don't know if he.
Oh yeah, you missed David.
Not interested. Who?
Okay,
Who?
fair enough. There you go. Yep. You heard it here first.
That's who I live with. And actually, between the three of them, I mean, they all had great 2020s. They all put in the work. You could see it like physically. And
Ali and Danny's transformation
for sure,
incredible. Just how cut they got. I don't know what Ashton looks like. I mean, he did the
Ashton's cutting down too right now. Also, who
and people would know that already, but Danny's too mean to come on the show, so it's we did try.
Wasn't she? Oh, okay. You know what?
I'm gonna pay for that, aren't I?
No, I'm gonna give her a hard time because I remember that I think Travis had reached out for her contact and everything like that. So I'll give her a hard time for that. So you know
just say you beat her to it,
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm looking at this thing. It's Tony Schiavone's birthday, and I already see a thread right now with Tony Schiavone and Danny. I'm just like, they're probably just making fun of me and giving me a hard time. But I'm gonna.
You should bring them on and tell them you're on the #1 podcast. You should FaceTime and say, "I'm here. I made it."
I'm gonna say
83 weeks. Who listens to that?
I'm gonna say Danny Jordan. I don't want to, but I feel like the sky's the limit for her, and I just feel like I'm wondering why hasn't she been signed?
100%. Yeah. And I'm hoping that obviously there's a lot of big releases with WWE this week, and I think she is homegrown talent, and what she's done over the last year and a half is incredible, and I think she's kind of earned a spot there, and you just kind of hope for the best. But
yeah, I think
loves her
wrestling
there.
sucks, and even I was impressed. So that says a lot.
But yeah,
And obviously she was in the
everyone loves
first-
her over there.
First ever wrestling show I saw live. She was there. So yeah.
Oh, that's
WrestleMania
right.
3. Oh, from the Pontiac
Pontiac
Silverdome.
Silverdome.
I have one last question, Garrett. What other wrestler impressions can you do? Because so far they've been really good. Could we just get a few examples?
I feel like there's a bunch of them just over getting to know them over the years and everything like that.
I just need one Virgil impression, please.
Oh God! So when I saw him at WrestleCon, everyone's like, "You got to get a picture with Virgil with the red headband on." And I would never do that to any other wrestler, but because I disrespected him so much, I asked him, "How much for a picture if you put this red headband on?" And so he goes, $10. So I go, "Okay." So he puts it on, but he puts it around his neck, and I'm like, "No, put it right here." And he's like, "No, I'm going to put it right here." I'm like, "No, you put it right here." And he goes,
Like his bow tie, right?
Well, he goes, "That's another 20." And I said, "Give me that back." Like I don't
That is such a Virgil move.
I know.
He's got to get that Olive Garden breadstick fuck money, man. He can't mess with it.
I know. I feel like my Jake used to be really good, but I mean, basically his was just, "Hey, bitch, hey, fuck you, man, you ain't shit." But I don't know.
That was good.
But see-
That shit was spot on.
But see, the thing is, when people do Dallas's impression, the impression that I do of him isn't the normal impression. Like people always, because obviously we could when he does like those speeches and those motivational speeches, we were able to like almost do it verbatim. But like the one impression that I would do for the other coworkers that they liked is if you tell Dallas to do something and he doesn't want to do it, he goes, "I'm not doing that, dude." Like he just, or he's got two laughs. He's got two laughs, and like his sense of humor wasn't necessarily like Nathan and all of ours when we do sketches. So his two laughs is he would go, "Ha!" Like it's just a really quick like that, or he does like
a Saint Bernard bark.
The cartoon cat. He would go. So those are the two Dallas laughs.
If you're looking for a good side hustle, you should film Jake just like kind of from the side and then do a overdub and go to Cameo with it.
That'd be pretty amazing, actually. Yeah.
Hey,
I told
Tom, it's me, Jake.
I told Jake, and Jake's like, "We should have done this." I told him in 2014 we should have made Jake the Snake Hallmark cards and Jake the Snake fortune cookies. Like it was no brainer. No brainer.
That would be awesome. Demotivational fortune cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck it up.
Hey man, go fuck yourself.
It ain't your year. These are not your numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, the light at the end of that tunnel is just a freight train coming your way.
It's got to happen. Oh man, it's
Hey,
not too
quick
late.
question: Did we let the Heart have 3 songs?
What's that?
Garrett
Oh, yeah.
listed 3.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna
Yeah,
let the Heart have 3. Okay,
Yeah,
you
he chose one for Danny, one for Dallas, and one for Garrett. See, look at that.
Okay. There you go.
There we go.
If he doesn't get 3, I don't know who does.
That's right.
That's right.
No, that's awesome. This was really cool, Garrett. It was really hard for us not to mark out and ask you for autographs, so I think we held it together pretty well.
I'm still gonna do it. I mean,
Across his chest.
Hey, I still have my emergency only headband still in the package. So
Oh,
Never know when you need to.
nice.
It's actually in a glass case normally. You
Yeah.
just got a
Right.
hammer. Anybody got anything for Garrett? Anybody else? I kind of hogged it. Sorry.
I just want to
Number
say
one
thank
fan.
you.
yeah,
I
thanks,
mean,
man.
I think a lot of people have heard me say that I wouldn't have ever stayed in the program without you, Garrett. That still holds true, man. I still
No, I
appreciate you
appreciate
so
it.
much for that.
Whenever I hear from you, whenever I would hear from Stacy, I mean it was always just again, like you guys would put out these posts and everything like that, and I mean, it would really, man, it felt good. You know, I'm just like, again, I'm pretty hard on myself, but it's just like when I hear that, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I always say like I'm just a little bit. It's good to be a little bit a part of your journey. You know, like you guys are putting in the work, you guys are doing all that stuff. But like if I can come in and like give some comic relief or come in and just be motivating, then it's just like I'm glad I can do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're Stacy's DDP Yoga Patronus. So if she, you would come out of her wand.
Dressed as a gorilla? No, because that happened in one workout.
No, his
Oh,
leprechaun
God.
outfit was the best one.
Oh, the workouts! Oh my God! I always say
The Christmas one, where you're just
The
like, why did I
wigs.
wear the sweater? And the fucking bells nonstop.
I always say it's comedy and entertainment over integrity and comfort. I mean, it's like, my God. I'd learn one of these days, but I just got to keep doing that. So,
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
good. It's good for everybody involved.
you came up with the whole idea right whenever the PC first started. Hey, I'm going to do all the workouts in my garage and film those and put those up on. Dude, how did you survive some of those in Atlanta heat? And you're like, oh, I'm going to put on a costume
was
in my
brutal.
garage.
I had to have a couple fans towards a couple of months because it was pretty bad.
So
And, like,
OnlyFans?
Oh,
Wow.
we weren't going to talk about that. But while we're at it, here's where we can reach it.
One of the things I always remember is you were in the modification position. I think it's energy or fat burner, one of the two, and it's
I'm not Big
doing
Rob.
the seated.
I'm not Big
seat-
Rob.
No, it was a
Nope.
seated bat.
That's
thing.
from Red
And he
Hot
said,
Core.
Garrett's just modifying. He could put his leg over his head, right? So I one day wanted to ask you because I wanted to see you put your leg over your head, and in my mind's eye, you were putting your leg behind your head here. Obviously, he
That's
just
the
meant
first time
above
I
the
heard it
height
too.
of your head. But for years, I thought, wow, he can do that. I want to be able to do that.
For some, I mean,
Pops
obviously
a hammy.
the program helped me a lot, but for some strange reason, I was pretty flexible, even as big as I was. So
I think it's a big guy thing. Like, I was also super flexible. I mean, carry
You
all
can put
that
your foot
weight
behind
around.
your head.
Can you?
I'm not doing it right now.
I'll say it must be huge for your social life. So that's cool.
Wah, wah, not really.
Because the bars haven't opened up yet, right? Is that what it is?
That's right.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Hey, did you go to the Braves parade?
I did not, and it's crazy because I live 2 miles away from the stadium. It was Southern Honor that night, and like we were all concerned to get there early for pre-production and everything. But yeah, for like 3/4 of a mile stretch, it took a half hour to get through.
Atlanta
that.
traffic's bad enough. I can only imagine what it was like. Yeah, when we got there for the summit, the lady said, "Hey, enjoy the fried chicken and traffic." And we're like, "What?" And then it took like 35 seconds. We're like, "Oh, look, fried chicken. Oh, traffic." Like it was.
Yeah.
We got it really quick. So
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, Braves aren't my team, but it is really cool to like support a team that's right down the street and everything like that. And they had a great team. Like, unfortunately, I'm a Los Angeles Angels fan, but I felt like this team almost was like the 2002 Angels. They were scrappy. They had no
Right.
reason being in there.
overperformed.
Yeah. Like, not a bunch of huge marquee names, you know, but it was actually really fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and cool to see Freddie finally get it. And
Yeah, it's
Did
crazy
you
to
see
think
that-
that he's been 12 years. Like, I'm
Right.
like, I always let like, oh, Freddie Freeman's probably been in the league 6-7 years, and like 12, and I'm like, wow.
did you hear all the number magic with it? That the
with the
Braves-
44?
Yeah, 44
Yeah, that
games
was
won by
crazy.
the Braves before the All-Star break, 44 won after the All-Star break. They retired, or they celebrated Hank Aaron's number 44,
Mm-hmm.
and they won it in the 44th week of the year. And in the World Series, 45 runs were scored. And
Yeah.
the 45th run was Freddie Freeman's home run. So people
The
are
home
saying,
run.
"Oh, that was just Henry Aaron passing the torch."
Now I know what
So-
sport you're talking about. It's rounders, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, we are absolutely yes. We're talking
I
American
didn't
cricket.
even know what sport you were talking about.
So, baseball. So
Exactly.
we're talking extreme trampoline. Blowing up huge down there.
Frisbee golf, that works, yeah.
Oh man, frisbee golf's awesome.
Amazing.
I love that.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Garrett.
Tom, did you have a nutrition segment for us this week?
Oh yeah, there you go, Tom.
Tom?
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey, actually, real quick, how did Tom do? Did he do good?
Oh, he's terrible.
Yeah.
They had him in modification position. His wife had to resuscitate him halfway through the workout. It was pretty unfortunate. We're gonna try to edit that out.
He
was
is
great.
unfortunate that he
he's
was
wearing
resuscitated.
extremely short shorts. I did notice that. Now,
John
did that come?
Stockton.
The jacked bands.
Yes, he's got Stocktons on. Did that come from him, or was Dallas like, "Hey, watch this. Here's your wardrobe.
I
Please
think
tell me."
Though the funny thing is I saw them all at the PC before I came over here to start setting up, and they were all eating like pizza, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we had to eat and everything." I'm like, "Before a Dallas workout, you guys are eating that?" And I'm like, "He's gonna kill you," because I'm like, Dallas, if it's a wrestler, an athlete, or if it's people coming in, flowing in, and everything like that, he's gonna bring it. And I'm just like, man, I would.
He puts Eminem on and everything now.
I was telling him that story. I said, if it's country, if it's classic rock, or if it's 80s, you're good. If it's Eminem, Lose Yourself, you're done. The hardest workout you'll get is if he puts that music on.
Amazing. So you heard it here first. Those are from Tom's suitcase. When you see them on the app, they are from Tom's suitcase.
Yep.
So
Things that make you go, ugh.
now they look good. It just makes them look swole. He got them from the child section at Target.
Child's Junior Miss, same thing, you know.
Amazing.
You wanna
Anyway,
do
we
the
better let
work.
you go, sir. So, as we wrap up, where can people find you online? See your stuff. Tell people what you're doing.
Let's see. You can always find me on Facebook. I always have a rule that I always tell people. I have a lot of people in my friend request list, but I choose not to just add people, because when I meet people at which workshops or wrestling events or anything like that, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, we've been Facebook friends forever," and I don't know who you are. I feel like that's rude. So if people message me, if people tag me, if people if I meet them in person, like, I'll add you in a second. But that's kind of my thing. My Instagram is at G Sakahara, and my Twitter is at Team Red Headband.
Awesome.
And are you
Yeah,
still
I do the
selling
same
headbands?
now, actually.
I'm still selling headbands. There was one lady from Canada who I sold her a red headband, and it started that thing again, which is really cool. But yeah, I think like last year I just didn't want to bring it up, but and I hate self-promoting, so you'll never see me put out a thing like red headbands are available and everything like that. I always just, if someone buys it or anything like that, I think it's just cool to have it that be kind of a thing instead of me pushing on it. But yeah, I still have red headbands.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of funny. At the start of pandemic, Travis I think bought 60 of them, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
actually he's been selling them for $30 a piece for surge pricing. So
Yeah, he kept me from being unemployed or from being homeless. So there's a little while where he was.
I do my part. I do my best. I do my best.
appreciate it.
He's selling them to get his Wi-Fi fixed.
We did before COVID though. We did have most everyone in class was wearing them. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I heard he's even using them in the bedroom, but we won't go there.
Well,
Hey now.
that's well.
They're
To be
sturdy.
fair,
They're
they were
strong
the-
and sturdy.
they were the original jackstrap. They were
I mean, they fit.
exactly.
Yeah, and if you double them up, cock ring. No, I'm not going there.
Oh my!
The sex toy show was the other week.
Double?
It actually got taken to the next level with the embroidered face on it.
Yeah, they would do it inside out. And it was rude.
Exactly where the hole's starting to work through.
Thanks so much for putting up with us.
Holy shit, this went south quick, didn't it?
That's why I said thank you a while ago, so we could cut all
Yeah,
that shit.
now it's just
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man.
Brilliant.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It was great to be on. I had a good time.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute
Right on,
pleasure,
man.
sir. Thank you.
All right. You want to
Cheers.
bring it home
Just
with the
remains for
cheers?
us, as we always do with the cheers. You know where to find our shit. We don't need to tell you again.
That's
so
right.
until next time, everybody, hit the mat.
Matt.
The mat.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Better Hit the Mat podcast.
Hi everybody, and welcome. That's the word I was looking for. To episode 32. I'm gonna do that again. Fuck it.
Boom posters. Hey, look at that guy.
Stop doing my shit, Ryan. Nothing worse than a front seat, back seat driver.
He's mad because I still have controls on the broadcast, and he likes. Sorry, boss. I'm like the student driver. I've got the brake on the passenger side, and he gets mad.
Hey, Tom, can we get a sound check?
Tom, you there?
Tom, can you hear us?
Jason, that's you.
Yeah, but now I've got you guys on the computer speakers, and it's not coming through my headphones, so I don't know what's up with that.
Uh-oh.
Magic.
Oh, so yeah, I usually pull it out and I blow on it and then push it back in.
I bet you do.
The Nintendo,
but it's the equivalent of
Nintendo cartridge.
It's the equivalent of hitting the TV, right? Hey, Foz, hitting the
Hey,
jukebox
we
there.
did that with Sega as well, by the way.
Yeah. No, yeah. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of impact repair. That's what I like to call it when you hit something really hard and it works.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Keep us in touch on your journey, man. Like,
Say hi to everybody there for us.
Punch Tom in the dick for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Garrett.
He'll know
All
it's
right,
from me. He can tell.
So Heather's there as well, right?
Heather's there too, yeah.
Yeah. Can you just think of something like a little bit suggestive and a bit inappropriate that I said about her on the show, and just share it?
Later.
Yeah. Do that just to wind Tom up, right?
That sounds good. All right. Hey, man, what are you doing? I'm not doing that, dude. Hey, bitch. Fuck you, man. You ain't shit. Ha!